Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, and I just installed a new piece of software. Actually, I'm on a laptop, and I've got to work on my camera for this, but I'm doing some well, not modifications, but updates to the studio. So I hope y'all can hear me okay. I don't have my pro level mic connected currently. That's coming soon, but I wanted to go ahead and host a live show. I know the last live show I had network congestion. And at least today, the network congestion rather should not be present. So I wanted to reach out to everyone. Obviously, a few things. August the 22nd has passed. There was no new drone announcement on August 22nd. I knew that was I felt somewhat optimistic rather that hopefully there would have been, but there wasn't. So, I made a bad call there. I missed my prediction was an epic fail. So, I acknowledge that, and hopefully we'll see a new drone soon. I know that Mavic Pro 2 obviously is imminent, and but yeah, that was definitely an epic fail, predicting something that never happened. But yeah, Mavic Pro 2. I don't know. Now that it's almost September, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if we're going to see the Phantom 5 and the Mavic Pro 2. It may be a situation, since we're getting this late in the year, that if we see one or the other, we may just see the Mavic Pro 2. Not necessarily that's a problem, but it's it's less exciting than having two new drones. So, but yeah, maybe we'll get a Mavic Pro 2 that'll really knock things out of the park from a features perspective. But yeah, I'm not really, with this camera that I'm on right now, I'm not super happy with it. I'm looking in my live broadcasting software, and it's a 720p instead of 1080p. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to connect actually what I think I'm going to do is rig the Sony Alpha camera into this so we could just get some crystal clear 1080p, and obviously a better microphone. This is just the microphone built into this particular laptop. This is it's an Intel Core i5. It's the new 13-inch MacBook Pro with touch, what they call it, touch bar. And actually, I've really enjoyed it. It's slimmer than the previous MacBook I was running. I was running the Retina, the original 13-inch Retina. I think it was early 2015 when it came out. So this is the 2017 MacBook Pro 13-inch with touch bar. So it's, I'm liking it so far. The only minor complaint, this camera, I'm just the built-in camera. I know it's a built-in webcam, but I was hoping it would have been a little bit better quality. So what does everyone have today? I mean, obviously this is Epic Drone Show, so it's all about drones. I just got off on a tangent rather about laptops, which, well, I guess it kind of comes into the picture because when I'm out in the field and I'm capturing content, then I'm editing that content on a laptop. So this should help assist with speeding up the in the field video edits for drone videos and other videos too. And this is Wirecast. This live stream, I'm using an upgraded version of Wirecast. It's Wirecast version 7.7. So I'm excited for Wirecast version 8 to come out soon. And I think when 8 comes out, and that's something that's going to be really cool for everybody out there. Welcome, Southern Oregon Cat Mom. Welcome. Yeah, when Wirecast version 8 comes out, we'll probably be presented with a rare opportunity, and that's, or not a rare opportunity, but a new opportunity. If you've used YouTube live streaming in the past, you may have become familiar with Hangouts on Air, which is where you can get multiple people face on video with audio and have a show. Now with Wirecast, which is the platform that I'm using now to do this live stream, actually I can bring in multiple cameras, I can bring in multiple video sources, I can do a lot of cool stuff. But when they come out with Wirecast 8, it's probably going to be a situation where I'll be able to invite guests. So for future shows, it won't just be me on the show, but we'll be able to, to get together face on video and all be part of a show. So that ought to be pretty cool. Greenock Drone Guy says, almost lost my Mavic over water today. Low battery, auto descend. 10 seconds later, it would have been history. Well, you know what? You got to pat yourself on the back for the excellent pilot skills. You reacted quickly under pressure, and obviously something near the $1,000 mark is definitely something that creates a sense of urgency. So, yeah, good job with recovering it safely, and more importantly, being familiar with the operations of your aircraft, so that you were able to react quickly and not encounter something catastrophic. So that's that's really good. And speaking of catastrophic, let me see what I got right here. Yeah, catastrophic. Yep. So we got Sean Coonery, the enormous Maine Coon cat. He said, I like drones. Whoa. Oh. Enormous Maine Coon. Yep. So he said he wanted to attend and check out the new broadcasting equipment here. Greenock Drones Guy says, yes, remain calm. A novice would have lost it. No doubt. And that's what, a lot of people, they get excited. They get a new drone. And I know you've been flying for a long time, but the new people that get them, they just rush out and, and don't take these emergency scenarios into consideration. What could happen? And that's, we need more people like you in the drone space that are responsible and well educated, because that's what's going to make this hobby to continue to exist, enable this hobby to continue to exist rather. But that's Sean Coonery. He's just all over this camera. I think what I may do for upcoming show is have multiple cameras, and then that way he can have his own camera, so he's not trying to fight for the. So you can see his ears over there on the side of the screen. He's like, "Hey, when you talk about drones, dude." Adam says, no new drone from DJI yet. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I firmly felt that August 22nd may have been that announcement we've all been waiting for, but it wasn't. So it was, we still got time, and I think comfortably they can probably still execute well before the holidays. But, the problem is they're really going to be on a tight timeline to get those drones out and get them in the hands of a lot of people before the holidays. So they're doing it to themselves. Anyway, maybe the wait's worth it. Maybe they're going to put something out that's beyond that exceeds all of our greatest expectations. The time will tell. So it's not. Sorry, I'm having to move this thing around because Sean Coonery, the big Maine Coon cat, he's just getting all over the place here. He's and now he's smelling my hands, I guess because I ate chicken. He loves chicken. I had some bunch of buffalo chicken for lunch. Smells it on my hands. Yep, I still smell the chicken too, Sean Coonery. But he wouldn't like the buffalo chicken because it's too spicy. Wonder if any other drone manufacturers are going to step up rather, and say, "Hey, we want to try to compete." Still haven't seen that. It's a shame. There's Apple, there's Google, there's Microsoft. There was GoPro until. I love GoPro, by the way, and I hate to sound negative when I talk about GoPro, but man, that GoPro Karma drone was. It was disappointing. There's not really any good words that could describe it, unfortunately. I hate to say that. So maybe they'll come out. GoPro with the GoPro Fusion. Maybe they'll get off the rocker and release a new drone in conjunction with GoPro Fusion. I think that would be really cool. Something to resurrect them as a company and also resurrect their reputation. They've got a huge sore spot right now. DJI Flying Footage says, hi, IrixGuy, great channel. Keep up the good work. All the best from Jason in the UK. Jason, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in live, especially from the UK. That's really cool. I bet the time over there, because right now in New York City time, it's about 5:40. Let's see, yeah, 5:55 p.m. So that's cool. Thanks. Adam says, would you fly your Spark from your boat on a windy day, or would that be a no-go? Well, you know, you can check out my Spark flight video where I was out over the water, and it was somewhat windy, but as far as my degree of confidence, obviously I would say Spark would be 3, Mavic Pro would be 2, and then one of the Phantoms would be number 1. Obviously the Phantom being heavier and you know, better capable of handling wind, I would prefer that platform. And it's still small enough to you know, to be able to land comfortably on a boat, on a small boat. A DJI flying footage says 22:54. Oh, that's the time over there. Cool. Military time. Gotcha. A Greenox says, I like DJI, but you can see every new product getting more expensive. Yeah, they're going to need to shift. And the thing is, here's the unfortunate part about that. For that shift to happen, the pricing shift, there's going to have to be some competition. Because, I mean, if I'm, let's say, for example, let's just say that I was the only guy in the world that made beer, right? So I'm the only brewery. You can't get beer anywhere else. If that was the situation, I would have a monopoly. And by having a monopoly, I could, in theory, I could charge, you know, let's just say today an average beer, just a cheap beer, costs about $1 a can. Let's say that I was the only beer brewery, the only person in the world that brewed beer. You know, I could charge hundreds of dollars for one can because people couldn't get it anywhere else. And I mean, that's what we're seeing now with, you know, with DJI. We've got one player that is just knocking it out of the park from a product design and product performance perspective. You know, I can't speak for their customer service. You know, I haven't dealt with that angle of the business, but you know, the thing about it that's cool is that at least the drones that I've owned so far, been able to troubleshoot, you know, enjoy the troubleshooting challenges along the way, but I haven't had anything that I haven't been able to resolve yet. Tabitha says, live naked girls. Wow. Yeah, we don't need that, not with drones. But thanks for your viewership. It's good you tuned in here. Yeah, so, I mean, what... Yeah, this is a live show, by the way. So if you're watching live, you have the opportunity to comment live, and I can read it and hopefully respond face on video. Again, if you're watching this at approximately 6 p.m. New York City time, this is a live show. After this show concludes, you can find it and all the previous recorded episodes on epicdroneshow.com. But yeah, we've Sean Coonery sitting right here. I need to get this. See, this MacBook that I'm using in the studio now, they switched to a port, and it's called USB-C. Now, I know when we had a live show a while back, and some people were talking about they had the new MacBook, and they were kind of disappointed with the USB-C. I've kind of got mixed emotions about it, and I think I like the USB-C because now, and most of the time, it won't charge, like if you're using a battery bank or say the power adapter in a car, the laptop won't charge unless it's closed. So if it's in use, even if you've got USB-C plugged in, it's probably not charging unless you're using the wall charger. Now, the good thing about this MacBook is that it's supposedly around 10 hours of battery life, and like right now, I've been using it for a while, and I've still got 79% remaining. But what I want to do with this is get these USB-C ports are also what's called Thunderbolt 3. So I want to get a Thunderbolt to Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 so that I can use this adapter. There's a company that makes an adapter that'll enable you to connect your camera by way of the camera's HDMI port to a Thunderbolt port, and then Mac OS sees that as a camera. So just like this webcam that I'm using now, the FaceTime camera is built into the MacBook Pro. I'd be using a high-end camera. I'll be using my Sony Alpha instead. So I'm really excited to get that hooked up. And obviously, by running this on the laptop, there's more there's more flexibility. So if I wanted to live stream with a good camera from somewhere out in the field, I could, because I could just pair with the iPhone and use that as the internet connection. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent there. Sean Coonery's gotten fur all over the keyboard. DJI Flying Footage says BBC says the DJI are grounding the Spark unless the latest update firmware is downloaded. Does this apply over the US? And Adam says, I heard about the firmware upgrade policy. So what's this about? And I apologize, I may be a little bit out in the dark when it comes to this. Is there controversy over DJI supposedly forcing people to upgrade the firmware, or what's the rub with the BBC? What are they? What's enlighten all of us here? Let's see. Yeah, I got to get a better camera hooked up to this. This built-in camera is mediocre. You can see Sean Coonery's ear though when he turns his head. He's sitting on the edge. Let me see if I can get him better in frame here. There we go. Hey, Sean Coonery. Ha ha. Look at that. He'll just sit there and stare at you. Let me see if I get Sean Coonery in myself. There we go. There, that's perfect. Now, you got both of us. Adam says, can't fly unless the firmware is upgraded by the user. And then Green Hawk Drone Guy says, BBC is news channel in the UK. Yeah, Well, it makes me wonder, with that, is that something that may have been prompted? Remember the GoPro Karma, when it first released, it was promptly recalled because supposedly certain units may have encountered may be afflicted by an issue rather that would cause them to crash. So maybe DJI's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What do y'all think about this? Do you think DJI is being proactive and they're trying to maybe more forcefully encourage people to use these updates so that they can hopefully avoid the PR disaster like GoPro encountered with the Karma? Sean Coonery's really into this show. Let's see. See, he's already sleeping. He likes drones, but he's not personally obsessed. He said, I could kind of care less. Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be interesting to see with these with all of the hopefully the regulations. It seemed like for a while they were just out of control. I mean, people, it was like, well, I guess it's like anything else. People discovered this new hobby, and after discovering the hobby, then they decided that, like anything else, you've got your responsible camp of people, and then you've got your irresponsible camp. And I think it just became, I think the rapid adoption and the obsession that hobbyists had throughout the world just created the immediate demand for regulation. Even if they didn't feel the regulation was necessary, they immediately the governments throughout the world immediately reacted just to create the vibe that they were doing their job, that they were monitoring the situation. And hopefully now we'll get to the point to where, maybe the agencies throughout the world will calm down and they'll realize that, well, there's helicopters in the sky, there's jets, there's airplanes with propellers, there's boats in the water, and these things have been around for a while, and yeah, they can crash and they can have wrecks and this, that, and the other, but if the government agencies throughout the world start to look at drones from the same perspective, then hopefully we'll have equal treatment as drone hobbyists. Maybe a drone won't be any different than an airplane or a boat or a car or whatever. I mean, one can wish. One can wish. Adam says, must have a giant litter box for that cat. Yeah, he's huge. Whoa. He has an enormous. He's an enormous cat, and he definitely has an enormous restroom. So he only weighs about 25 pounds, though. You would think he would be even heavier than that. A lot of it's fur, though. He's got really long fur, and during the summer, his fur is it's a lot thinner. But in the winter, these cats put on a super thick fur coat, so then his weight even goes up because he's got more fur. It's interesting. Greenock Drone Guy says, always upgrade to the latest firmware as soon as possible. That's often a good thing. I always upgrade as soon as possible. Part of, now, in other realms, out of best practice, I don't upgrade to firmware as late as possible. So as quickly as possible, rather. So, for example, cameras, computers, operating systems on computers, software updates. This is a prime example right here. I use this Wirecast software. They came out with a new version. Until today, I've been running on the previous version, but today I'm running on the most recent version of the Wirecast software. So in a lot of realms, I like to stay a version or so behind to enable the masses to discover the bugs and the developer to work out the kinks before I adopt the new version. And that's assuming that the previous version that I'm running is running in what seems to be a flawless or near flawless fashion. They always say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, that applies to a lot of things. But with drones, I've always adopted the most recent firmware. And the reason I've done that, obviously part of the thing that I enjoy about drones, not just the hobby, but interacting with other hobbyists as well. So, if I put the latest and greatest firmware on there, especially during the earlier days of drones, back in the Phantom 1 days, those firmware updates were significant, and they could introduce significant problems or a significant amount of fixes. So it's a gamble there, and I like to do it because I like to experience the problems. If there are troubleshooting challenges, I like to YouTube about it and see what y'all have done to remedy the situation. And likewise, if I found a fix, I'll share my fix with the masses so that y'all know, what may work for you as well. DJI flying footage. There has been reports of the Spark falling out of the sky due to low battery issue. So we assume it's a safety issue in PR. Now, I can tell you this. My Spark never fell out of the sky due to low battery. But what I can say is that when that low battery hits on the Spark, it's not like low battery on a Phantom or a Mavic where you've got a little bit of breathing room. When it hits the low battery warning on the Spark, you better be close to landing. If you're not, I could see how it could easily happen. Super T says, that cat has human-sized poop. And I miss my cat. OJ the Juice Kitty was his name. Very cool name. Very cool. That's, yeah, Sean Connery's pretty big. What's funny, he's larger than a lot of dogs, and that's the funniest reaction, people have, is that when they see him, they're like, they do a double take because they haven't seen a cat this big in their life, so it's kind of interesting. yeah, I'm going to. I got to hit the gym and I got to get all ripped, and I will be. And stay tuned for more info. But I'll be broadcasting. I'm hoping to be able to broadcast live from there, but I'll be in the YouTube space in New York City. So that's they're installing some new sets in YouTube space, and they hope to have those ready in a few weeks. So here hopefully next month I'm going to go to YouTube Space in New York, and hopefully, if their policy allows, I'd like to try to broadcast a live show from the set. It looks like a talk show set. I mean, it's super sweet, multi-million-dollar studio up there. I mean, I'm already excited about that. So hopefully I'll be able to do an epic drone show and/or a IrixGuy's live show from there. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Super T says, I want to get a drone, but I'm scared that I may get in trouble. It's quite possible. I mean, there's definitely an international perception problem with drones. People see a drone and they assume, one of two things. They think, oh, that's cool, and then there's a camp of people that's like, man, they're trying to troll and they're trying to find ways to try to get that drone pilot in trouble. And I encountered one of those. If y'all weren't part of the previous live show where I shared the story, I'll abbreviate the story. But I was out in the safe and responsible and in public flying location. I noticed this guy. He was kind of looking around, and you could tell he was up to something. Well, sure enough, not too long after that, 2 cop cars roll up, and they were friendly. They're just like, hey, man, what's going on? And I noticed they had talked to this guy that was playing golf out in this field before they came and talked to me. So I knew they were going to come to me. And the cops came up, and they're just like, hey, man, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, just flying my drone. And, it was kind of funny. I'm like, oh, and, I didn't know, at that point, I didn't know which direction the conversation was going to go, if they were going to try to, but they were chill. They actually enjoyed seeing the drone and started asking questions about the drone afterwards. But it's like, hey, you don't need to park your truck in the grass. This is public use property, but, don't park in the grass because of whatever. And I said, that's fair. I said, I'll move and, park on the side of the field. And the guy playing golf did the same thing. But the guy that lived around this field that had called the cops, every time I go out there and fly, he gives me a bad look. And you know what? I park on the side of the field, and that's fine. That's fine and dandy. It's a public field. But that guy came out before the cops came and was chewing me out. He's like, man, what are you doing? Why are you flying this around? Are you spying on people, this, that, and the other? I'm like, no. I said, man, I'm enjoying this hobby. Like hundreds of other people throughout the world are doing the same. And yeah, you can encounter those scenarios, but just know number one, know what you're doing before you do it. Be familiar with the use of the drone. Be familiar with where you're flying the drone. Know all the facts, so that when and if you encounter something that's less than exciting, that you present yourself in the best way possible. And if you know your rights and you're not a jerk about it, and you emphasize the fact, hey, I'm having a good time, and this, that, and the other, don't say stuff unless asked. The cop was like, what are you doing? I was just flying my drone. That's what I was doing. So, it's a hobby that'll attract attention. There's no doubt about that. But it doesn't have to result in a negative confrontation all the time. Adam says, should I purchase a Mavic or wait and see what happens with any new release? Any thoughts? Well, these are my blunt thoughts. I like the Mavic, but the Mavic, although the design, the portability, the battery life, the controller felt great, the camera for me doesn't cut it. And I know I film everything in 4K Ultra HD, but to look at the 4K from a Phantom 3 Pro or a Phantom 4, and then to look at the 4K from the Mavic Pro, there's no comparison. It's close, but it's not as good. And if you haven't had experience with the other drones, you may not really notice that subtle difference in video quality. But if you have had experience with the other drones, you're probably going to be deeply disappointed. So for that reason, I would wait. But again, it's a great drone. If I was going to go out and get a drone today, it would definitely be the Phantom 4. The Phantom 4 is what I filmed the intro and outro for Epic Drone Show with. Super smooth, super good image quality, no tap to focus requirement. Tap to focus drives me nuts. That's a requirement that was introduced with Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro, and tap to focus drives me nuts. So hopefully DJI, when they come out with the Mavic Pro 2 and the Phantom 5, hopefully they will have eliminated the tap to focus requirement, because tap to focus drives me nuts. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of y'all out there that have encountered that same thing. Adam says, can you bring a Mavic on most planes? I would love to wait, but I'm doing some serious travel soon. You know what? And again, check with the country of origin and destination and the airline and this, that, and the other. I'm not a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Find out what the current regulations are. With that said, and I know regulations have probably changed, I've been to a ton of places with the drone. If I was going to travel with the drone, honestly, what I would do, hey, Sean Cooner, you may get a little bit upset when I get this here. Hold on, I just got to give him a heads up because he'll jump, because I'm about to make some noise. What I would do, go big or go home. These cases right here for air travel, I've really enjoyed them because I can put my, and check my website, because I'll have a link to the case. You can find that case online. It comes in a variety of colors, but I've enjoyed traveling with that for airfare, or for air travel rather, because what I do, and again, regulations may change, but what I do is I put the batteries in my carry-on, because like Greenock said, LiPo bag for planes. Check the regulations regarding batteries for drones. What can you and cannot travel with? Is there a limit to how many batteries they allow you to take? I know when I was flying recently, and I haven't flown for a few months, but when I would take all the drone batteries, the Phantom 4 batteries, in my carry-on, and then I would check the drone and all of the non-battery accessories underneath the plane in that case, that waterproof and ruggedized case. So by doing that, I was able to get everything there. And then once I arrived at the destination, obviously after I left the airport, then I put my batteries in the waterproof and ruggedized case. So I had a great 4K 30 frame per second filming rig. I could throw it in a kayak. I could throw it, wherever. And if it got wet, I had a reasonable degree of confidence that it's probably not going to leak. And I never encountered a leak. So, to take it anywhere to get the best video quality possible, like you mentioned, you said should you wait and see what happens with the new release, but you're doing some serious travel soon. I would, if I was traveling tomorrow, if DJI hadn't released anything new yet, I would go with Phantom 4. I would get a few batteries, and that would be great. So yeah, and let me this live show, when this live show concludes, I'm going to post I'll post this live show on epicdroneshow.com. But what I'm also going to do, stay tuned for this post. I'm going to post and again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not any sort of authority, but what I'm going to do is post a link to some various travel accessories for drones. So from the case to some bags, the LiPo bags, like, let's see, let me flash back to my comments here. The bags like Greenock Drone Guy mentioned, all that stuff I'm going to link in there so that so it just makes it easier to find this stuff. And again, check the local regulations and from both the origin and the destination to make sure everything's on the up and up, because laws are constantly changing. But when I'm going somewhere and I'm taking a camera, whether it's a drone or a camera, I want to take the best possible within reason, but something that if it got wet, let me step back. Something that I can package in a way. So when I arrive at my destination, I'll give you a prime example. Check out a lot of my more recent videos where I'm kayaking, going out to this island. I was literally on a kayak, and behind this kayak, or strapped to the back of the kayak, I had my Phantom 4. and I had it in a waterproof bag. But also in another waterproof bag, I had my Sony Alpha camera, lenses. I mean, if that stuff had gotten wet, I mean, that's expensive. I mean, that's thousands of dollars of gear. So, but I did it in a way to where it wasn't too cumbersome to travel with. So I was able to go to these spots, have what I felt was excellent equipment, and document it from a video perspective in the best way possible. Greg, just got here. Anything new with DJI? Yeah, nothing yet. And guys, I apologize. I'm going to have to cut this one a little bit short. I'm a little bit over a half hour in. I'm going to have another Epic Drone Show very soon. Again, just to kind of close this show, I wanted to reiterate that I'm using new software now, a new version of Wirecast. And my next show, I'm going to be working on the camera equipment, the audio equipment. Obviously, you can see I'm back in my green screen now. But I'm going to work on getting a camera to where this is a a super high-end show. That's my objective, to give it that look and feel. But obviously, the best thing will be when I get this new software to where we can bring in other people. So if y'all, for a future live show, if you want to drop me a message by way of social media and say, hey, can I get in the queue, and can you consider me to be part of an upcoming live show? I think that's where it's going to get really fun. If we've got multiple participants and we're able to, I mean, this typing is great. Reading your comments, everyone else seeing your comments, that's great. But to have the opportunity for some people to also get face on video if they want to, I think that would be super cool. So with that being said, I'm going to cut this show a little bit short here. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, definitely be sure to do so. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy. Again, I owe y'all a post on epicdroneshow.com where I'm going to talk about the various travel accessories for drones. Not just for the getting to and from the destination, but travel accessories that once one arrives at their final destination, that makes it convenient for them to carry their drone and or camera gear in environments that may be potentially wet at times. And I think you'll like that a lot. And thanks again for your viewership, your likes, your shares, helping this channel to continue to grow. And this live show that's ending now at approximately 6:21 p.m. New York City time will be available, a previously recorded version, on epicdroneshow.com. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.